Ever glance at a map of Europe and notice something funny near Poland? Look east. See that little Russian speck by the Baltic Sea? That's Kaliningrad, a Russian region completely cut off from Russia. How did this geopolitical quirk even happen? Buckle up, because the story of Kaliningrad is a wild ride through history, war, and a whole lot of head-scratching. You've got Lithuania to the north, Poland to the south, and the Baltic Sea splashing against its coast. Kaliningrad is a whole oblast like a state, with a population bigger than Delaware. Yet it's stuck hundreds of miles away from Moscow, a Russian outpost in the heart of Europe. This isn't some recent blip on the map either. We're talking about centuries of history, a tangled web of empires and wars. So how did this chunk of land end up as a Russian outlier? The answer involves a healthy dose of history, a sprinkle of geography, and a whole lot of you can't make this stuff up. Get ready to dive into the hilarious, bizarre, and utterly fascinating tale of how Russia ended up with Kaliningrad. We're going way back, folks, to a time when knights weren't just characters in fairy tales. Picture Europe in the 13th century: castles, crusades, and a whole lot of territorial squabbling. Enter the Teutonic Knights, a German order of crusading warriors who set their sights on the Baltic region. Their mission? Convert the pagan Prussians to Christianity by any means necessary. Historical expert. These weren't your average knights in shining armor. The Teutonic Knights were a force to be reckoned with, carving out a powerful state in what is now northeastern Poland and Kaliningrad. They built castles, founded towns, including Königsberg, the future Kaliningrad, and basically became the medieval power players of the region. Königsberg, named after King Ottokar II of Bohemia, quickly rose to prominence as a major port city on the Baltic Sea. It joined the Hanseatic League, a medieval trading alliance, and became a center of commerce, culture, and all that good stuff. For centuries, the city thrived under the rule of the Teutonic Knights, and later, the Duchy of Prussia. Take a look at a map again. See how Kaliningrad juts out into the Baltic Sea? That's no accident of geography. It's prime real estate, strategically speaking. Control Kaliningrad, and you've got a foothold in the Baltic region, a gateway between the East and West. Geopolitical analyst. Throughout history, everyone from the Teutonic Knights to the Prussian kings recognized Kaliningrad's strategic value. It was a major port for trade, a launching point for naval expeditions, and a buffer zone against potential enemies. Think of it as the ultimate strategic chess piece, constantly sought after and fought over by rival powers. This strategic importance became even more pronounced in the 20th century. 2 world wars ravaged Europe, and Kaliningrad, with its prime location, found itself right in the thick of it. During World War I, the region witnessed heavy fighting between Germany and Russia. But it was World War II that would irrevocably alter the fate of Königsberg and its inhabitants. World War II. As the war raged on, the city found itself in the crosshairs of the advancing Soviet army. The Battle of Königsberg, fought in 1945, was one of the war's fiercest and most destructive sieges. Imagine, if you will, the once grand city of Königsberg reduced to rubble. Buildings were leveled, streets were impassable, and the city's historic center, once a testament to Prussian heritage, lay in ruins. Historical expert. With the defeat of Nazi Germany, the Allied powers convened to redraw the map of Europe. The Potsdam Conference, held in 1945, sealed the fate of Königsberg. The city, along with the northern part of East Prussia, was transferred to the Soviet Union. The remaining German population was expelled, and the city, once a symbol of German culture and history, was gradually repopulated with Soviet citizens. In 1946, Königsberg was renamed Kaliningrad, in honor of Mikhail Kalinin, a prominent Soviet leader. The city, bearing the scars of war, began its new chapter as a Soviet outpost on the Baltic Sea. After World War II, Europe was like a giant game of Risk, with the victors divvying up the spoils. The Soviet Union, having borne the brunt of the fighting against Nazi Germany, was in no mood to be generous.
Kaliningrad, strategically important and heavily damaged, became a key piece in the Soviet Union's post-war security strategy. Remember that whole strategic location thing? Kaliningrad, sandwiched between Poland and Lithuania, gave the Soviet Union a crucial access point to the Baltic Sea.
It was a dream come true for the Soviet Navy, providing them with a warm water port and a base of operations to project power in the region.
But it wasn't just about military might. The Soviet Union saw Kaliningrad as compensation for the immense suffering inflicted upon it during the war. Millions of Soviet citizens had perished, and the country lay in ruins. Kaliningrad, though devastated, represented a tangible symbol of victory and a strategic asset in the emerging Cold War.
The Soviets wasted no time in consolidating their control over Kaliningrad. They invested heavily in rebuilding the city, constructing military bases, shipyards, and infrastructure. Now, let's talk geography. Kaliningrad isn't just a random Russian city, it's an exclave. That means it's a chunk of Russia completely separated from the motherland. Imagine Alaska, but instead of being hundreds of miles away, it's nestled right next to your arch-nemesis.
This geographical quirk makes Kaliningrad one of the most unique and strategically important regions in the world. It's a Russian island in a sea of NATO and EU member states, a constant reminder of the geopolitical complexities that shape modern Europe.
This geographical isolation has had a profound impact on Kaliningrad's development. Cut off from Russia by land, the region had to find its own way, forging a unique identity shaped by its Soviet past and its European present.
It's a place where Russian culture rubs shoulders with European influences, where the legacy of war and division coexists with the hope for a more integrated future. Kaliningrad's status as an exclave has also created practical challenges.
Remember that whole strategic location thing we talked about? Well, it didn't magically disappear with the end of the Cold War. In fact, Kaliningrad's military importance has only grown in recent years, making it a major point of contention between Russia and the West.
With the eastward expansion of NATO, Kaliningrad has found itself on the front lines of a new era of geopolitical rivalry. Russia, feeling encircled by NATO expansion, has responded by beefing up its military presence in Kaliningrad. The region is now home to some of Russia's most advanced weaponry, including Iskander ballistic missiles, S-400 air defense systems, and a formidable naval presence.
This military build-up has raised eyebrows in NATO capitals, with some analysts describing Kaliningrad as a dagger pointed at the heart of Europe.
Think of it as a high-stakes game of poker, with Russia and NATO each holding their cards close to their chests. Kaliningrad, with its military assets, is Russia's ace in the hole, a reminder that they're a force to be reckoned with in the region. This militarization has turned Kaliningrad into a focal point of geopolitical tensions.
Life in Kaliningrad is anything but ordinary. Imagine living in a place steeped in history, surrounded by stunning natural beauty, but also grappling with the legacy of war and the complexities of its geopolitical situation.
Despite its turbulent past, Kaliningrad is a city full of life. The scars of war are still visible, but they're slowly being healed by time and the resilience of its people. The city boasts a vibrant cultural scene, with theaters, museums, and art galleries showcasing the region's rich heritage.
And let's not forget about the amber. Kaliningrad is famous for its amber deposits, and the region is a major center for amber mining and craftsmanship. From stunning jewelry to intricate sculptures, amber is a part of Kaliningrad's identity, a reminder of the region's natural beauty and its connection to the Baltic Sea.
The people of Kaliningrad are known for their warmth, hospitality, and their ability to find humor in even the most challenging of circumstances. They're proud of their city and its unique history, and they're eager to share it with visitors. A trip to Kaliningrad is a journey into a world unlike any other.
As the world grapples with new challenges and geopolitical shifts, Kaliningrad's future remains uncertain. Will it remain a source of tension between Russia and the West, a heavily militarized outpost in a region striving for stability? Or can it become a bridge between East and West, a hub for cooperation and dialogue?
Some see Kaliningrad's unique position as an opportunity. The region's proximity to both Russia and the EU, its cultural blend, and its economic potential could make it a catalyst for greater cooperation and understanding. Imagine a future where Kaliningrad serves as a bridge between East and West, a place where cultures and ideas converge, fostering dialogue and collaboration.
Others are more cautious, pointing to the deep mistrust and historical baggage that continue to plague relations between Russia and the West. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine and the escalating tensions between NATO and Russia cast a long shadow over Kaliningrad's future.
The future of Kaliningrad hangs in the balance, shaped by the complex interplay of history, geopolitics, and the hopes and aspirations of its people. It's a region full of contradictions, a place where the weight of the past collides with the possibilities of the future. So there you have it, the wild, wacky, and sometimes downright unbelievable story of Kaliningrad. It's a tale of knights and kings, wars and conquests, and a whole lot of geopolitical maneuvering. Who knew a little chunk of land on the Baltic Sea could have such a long and complicated history? From its humble beginnings as a Teutonic knight stronghold to its current status as a Russian exclave, Kaliningrad has seen it all. It's been a center of trade, a military fortress, and a pawn in the great game of geopolitics. So next time you're looking at a map of Europe and you see that little Russian outpost on the Baltic Sea, remember its story. It's a reminder that history is full of surprises, that geography can be a fickle mistress, and that even the most seemingly insignificant corners of the world can have a fascinating tale to tell.